I would like to take a few minutes to show you around and speak a little bit of my faith and the church that I belong to. This is Betel. There's a misconception of how it is that there's so many churches and how they're so big and so glorious. And I've heard brothers who express that some of their friends think that the United States churches send money to Mexico, and that is how these churches grow and expand, but that is not the case. There's that free will that every soul has, that they can employ their time doing whatever they want. And it so happens that there's members who choose to volunteer their time, work, effort into a higher cause. Sometimes that cause is not understood by outsiders, but to the insiders of this church, it's very clear how and when and to who they employ their time and effort. And this is Betel. It is located about 5 miles from the main seed here in Guadalajara. On a personal note, what I have noticed is that there is a lag of communication from the language Spanish to translation into English, because nowadays the information is so fast, so vast, and so available at our fingertips. We seem to only take into account or process the first couple of searches that we do, and we take an impression of what those searches or what those messages are being portrayed, meaning the lag that there is in between the Spanish and the language of English is pretty big. So the effort of these type of little short clips is to share with the outsiders who do not know us, share a little bit of our culture or belief or faith. I don't know how to say it, so I'm just gonna say it. I looked at Univision report on the church that I attend to and belong to, and it caught my attention that everything that they said was distorted, manipulated, or altered to give an image or a perspective that is not how they want to portray this church that originated more than 2,000 years ago. Now, it resurfaced in Mexico in 1926. They have not taken the time or effort to do a little digging on the history. On the contrary, what they have done is posted false reports, false accusations, false events, and one of them is a supposed search warrant that was carried out in the main temple in beautiful province, the white beautiful temple. they deliberately said that there was a search warrant done and the installations and investigations and everything that comes with a judicial order of a search warrant. Well, none of this is true, but they went ahead and they released this information to the public, tainting the image of the church. While when they said that this supposedly happened the same day, there was a body of a brother who had passed, who he was being honored in it's called the huerto, which is like a garden right next to the church. And there was crowds of people there. So if there was such search warrant done on the church, that would bring so much attention from all the media that doesn't like the church to begin with, plus the brothers who are there. You know, there's not a single trace of this happening at all. There's no record, there's nothing with the police. So this information was deliberately posted and diffused by Univision from the United States. So they have an apology that it's owed to this institution. Now, I do not represent this institution whatsoever at all. I'm just a viewer who happened to come across some of their trash they have been posting. So I took it upon myself to travel down to beautiful Guadalajara to make these little clips to explain and show a little bit more of the day-to-day activities of this congregation, this church that is here in the 21st century, and it's not going anywhere. A little bit of history on this church of Betel. This temple was in Provincia. Provincia is where the big, white, beautiful temple is. The one that looks like a big cake. This temple was over there. And it was translated here to Betel once that other church was planned and erected. So that temple wasn't destroyed. It was actually translated here. So yeah, this is a church of work. We're not lazy. In specific, there are a few YouTubers who have taken upon themselves to try to tell the world, because they're not telling us, the members of this church, they're trying to tell the world a picture or paint a picture of how we live our lives. And I'll go straight to the point. On one of these videos that I came across, a certain individual affirmed and said it with such certainty that made me want to do this. He said, all of the members from this church, from their birth, they're dedicated to serve their international director. When they get of age, they are either sexually abused and touched and all the evil nastiness that you could think of. They're saying that is done to us, the members of this church. Now, like I said, this is something personal from my own initiative, my own personal initiative. Why? Because I have sisters, I have brothers, I have nephews, and I have grown in this church. Never have I ever heard, seen, or witnessed any such thing that these people are claiming. Our girls, our kids, they are not groomed to be sexually abused by our apostle. So this is very cutthroat, this is very raw, but this is what is being said. And it is a message that needs to be cleared in English, because the media has been taking the advantage of the lag that there is because of the translation that needs to happen from Spanish to the language of English. This lag has allowed time to pass to keep on tainting the image and the message that they are trying to give this church. So it is very important that we don't allow this to happen because there is truths that are known. How in our day-to-day lives, in our testimonies, we have a history, we have generations, we have so much life events that have formed us that go contrary, 100% contrary to what these slanderous people are accusing this church to be. So yes, this is my own personal effort. I do not have any position or nothing. I'm just a bench member that sits in the very back and doesn't go every day, but I have firm belief in my faith, in what I have seen and what I have witnessed. It's not only because of a belief, that is totally a different realm, the spiritual and the material. But what I have seen and witnessed is what I have to give testimony to. Now that's me. There's my sisters, there's my brothers, there's my cousins, there's just immediate family, and there's also friends. So I wish that the media and the YouTubers who are doing all this slandering would take a different approach on how they are spreading these lies, because it's going to catch up to them and they're going to have to give an explanation or either an apology, because the slandering that they did and they keep on doing is not right. And all the views and the likes that they get and the money that they're getting because of the likes that they get, all they're doing is putting money in their pockets on the expense of somebody else's life, work, life, beliefs, and it's not right. So this is Betel. This is just a typical day around here. Brothers working, maintaining the installations. So it's to show also that since the Apostle of God was put in jail unjustly, the church has not stopped working. The grass has been maintained. Paintings have been upkept. Constructions of churches have been kept going on. So if the effect was, if the effect that they wanted to have on the membership of this church was to disintegrate us and separate us, on the contrary, they made everybody come together. And FYI, I do always have it on when I'm speaking close to somebody, but I'm alone. And to take this trip, I did take the shot, the Johnson. I feel good, I'm alive. I haven't had no weird side effects from that shot, so I'm glad. So this is Betel, and this is me. Don't give my face, I'm not being anonymous like all these little YouTubers who slander the image of this institution, this church, whatever you want to call it. It's a church. This is my face, and I'm not hiding it. Whatever I say is because I have either lived it, seen it, or simply believe it because it's the faith, and we have work that needs to be, showed through faith. So this might be a little piece of it, a little tiny little piece, but it's still a message that needs to be put out because it's not fair. And I know life is not fair, but if you go around life spreading lies, eventually people are gonna act out on those lies, like it happened in the United States. In Houston, one of those temples from the light of the world got shot up.
Church officials still have no idea why a man shot up an East Houston church. 27-year-old Josue David Cordova is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He's accused of shooting at the Light of the World Church on Saturday. At least 12 shots were fired into the church's temple and office rooms. He is behind bars thanks to the quick actions of some church members out there.
When the brothers hear the gunshots, everyone runs for cover. And as soon as he starts leaving, a couple of brothers, a brother started chasing him to get down his license plate number. They called it into the Houston Police Department, and the Houston Police Department promptly were able to arrest the individual.
Wow. So this is the third time in a year the temple has been vandalized or shot at. Luckily, no one was in.
In Nevada, too, now this slandering has been escalating more and more, and we have seen it manifested physically in harm against believers of this church. And that is not tolerable whatsoever, that because of what you believe you're gonna get shot at. So there's people that have been responsible of spreading such message of hate and violence against these people that are my brothers, that we don't live in the same cities or are proximate to each other, but we share the same faith. So from Guadalajara, I'm going to give a little view, message, pictures, whatever you want to see, showing a little bit of our life, because we're not going to let somebody who doesn't know us and know our history, our beginnings, come and tell us what is happening within us. It does not make sense. So this is Omar Castillo.